Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Tati back with another review of A Ring of Honor. And really, I don't even want to put too much time into this. Honestly, the first time I fell asleep watching it. And after the first time they give it, they do give another live replay. Um, then after the second live replay is when you can like fast forward and rewind, whatever you want to do with the stream. Now, at first, I ain't gonna lie, I was not really entertained, which is why I ended up falling asleep. So the second time, I was like, you know what? Let me sit my ass up and see what's going on. So for me, Tony Khan, the big issue here, once again, is the booking. A lot of things are just not making sense. Um, you really want to captivate your audience with what you're giving. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's like, damn, you bought the damn promotion so you can do something with it. And I feel like I have not yet been wowed. Wait. That's a lie. Only with the pay-per-views. And this is what I keep saying, that Tony Khan is gonna slide on being mediocre with things because he knows that these guys and girls are always gonna give 100%, especially at these pay-per-views. They always tear the house down with that. Now, it's interesting enough when I say earlier I was looking at the ticket sales for the next Dynamite, which is going to be in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's less than a week away, and they've only sold one third of their tickets by right now. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's absolutely insane that they're not able to sell tickets. Like I would say Cincinnati or Ohio area is a really good area where they could be able to put people in a arena that's, has a few thousand seats or whatever, maybe not sold out. But the issue here is that if you're not grabbing your audience, these people are just not going to come to the damn shows. Now, the shows are fun and all, but if you're bullshitting people on TV, people are just not going to take it seriously. So they're not going to give you a little money so that they can have some tickets to go to these shows. They probably rather watch it at home or don't watch it at all, which is the same case with ROH right now. We do have some great matches, but you have to sit through a lot of bullshit at the same time, too. Now, we do have Silas Young versus Tony Nese that start off the show. Oh yeah, before that, they actually go into filling everybody into the whole Samoa Joe and MJF storyline thing that's going on from Dynamite. So they do start off with that, and then we get our first match. The match was okay. What I didn't like about it was that they were heavily focusing on Silas Young left arm. He had injured it years ago, and with his match with Josh Woods a couple of weeks ago, Josh was focusing on that arm as well and ended up taking the win. Now, I did enjoy that match, but it almost felt like a repeat with this match with Tony Nese. And then we also had Mark Sterling, who was getting involved physically, hurting Silas Young. Silas is super talented, and I don't think he's ever even taken a win these past few months. So that's a little bit annoying to see. Tony Nese ends up winning, but I just felt like, damn, like some people, they're super talented, but every time they get in that ring, it's a loss. Now, we also have Dalton Castle, who's complaining because he is feeling sabotaged by Soapy Hathaway and Samoa Joe. They're getting in the way of him and the boys having their matches and winning or whatever. And I understand where he's coming from here. Personally, I would always think of, trying to put him in a higher place, like putting him on Dynamite, putting him on Collision. He is going to be in Collision this Saturday, so that's great to see, but I would like to see him more on AEW. He has something that fans actually like to see, so it's really enjoyable to see Dalton Castle being all quirky or whatever, and people don't really give a shit. If it's funny, it's fun, and he's a great wrestler as well. I do kind of feel like they're wasting him a little bit on ROH. So next we have Serpentico and Angelico versus, I can't even remember who they were. This was not interesting to me. Now, this is Serpentico and Angelico's fourth match that they won in a row, which is kind of surprising to me because these are the guys who are always coming in the ring and basically just laying down for their opponents. When you have opponents in the ring that look like y'all just picked them off the street, people are not going to be interested in those matches. So for me, this is actually the part where I actually fell asleep the first time watching it. And honestly, it's not interesting enough. Now, we do have up next tag team actions with the ladies, Willow and Sky Blue versus the Renegades. The Renegades have actually been doing much better week after week, so I'm kind of liking them a little bit more. I already knew that this was going to go for Willow and for Sky Blue, especially since this episode was filmed in Chicago, and that's where Sky Blue is from. Now, I like what they started doing with Willow, and all of a sudden now she's kind of taking a seat back, especially after that match with Athena. You would think that after having a amazing match with Athena at Death Before Dishonor, and also winning the Owen Hart Cup tournament, that would do something for her career. It actually does not. Honestly, she's just kind of coasting by, just kind of being like mid-level or whatever. And for whatever reason, I just feel like winning the Owen Hart tournament doesn't really do anything for anybody. If anything, Ricky Starks is actually looking good since he did win that, and he had a phenomenal match with Bryan Danielson, but not looking so great for the ladies. So next we had a Proving Grounds match for the six-man tag titles. Now we obviously have the Mogul Embassy, they have the titles, and they're going against Metalik, Gravity, and Griff Garrison. Who booked this? First of all, I wouldn't even have thought of putting a team with these three guys together. But then I thought about it. There is basically no trios in ROH. Now, when we did have the Mobile Embassy, when they first started as just an embassy, at first I was like, I'm not sure. But it did take some time for them to get some chemistry with each other, and they work really, really well, and I enjoy their matches. However, you're not going to convince me that Gravity, Griff Garrison, and Metalik is the next big trios in wrestling. They just didn't go together individually. Everybody did great on their own when they got tagged into the match, but as a group, they definitely did not seem like a group at all. And I don't understand why it seemed like they put a random three people together. I don't know. I just didn't like this at all. Match wasn't bad, but when you see that they putting random people together, now you're like, okay, what's going on with the six-man tag division? There actually really isn't one at this point. They're just putting people together. Now the Mogul Embassy does end up taking the win. Match is not bad, just randomly put together. But later on in this match, later on in the show, we have Maria who approaches Griff with Cole Carter. They want to recruit him into their group, this army that Maria is building right now. So I do find that interesting. If Griff turns heel or whatnot, that might work out for him, because right now he just kind of not standing out, just like when he was with Brian Pillman Jr. And it's looking to go the same way too. So if he were to join that, that might help. So up next, we have Layla Gray versus Kiera Hogan. Both these girls were baddies with Jade Cargill, and it's a shame that nothing really came out of it for these two girls in their careers. Every month or so, maybe once, maybe twice, we'll get a chance to see Layla or Kiera in the ring, so that's not pretty much often. Now, they do have a decent match. I have to say this though, like Kiara, her ass is so distracting. People love to talk about Sky Blue's ass, and I'm just like, do you guys not see Kiara? Like, she definitely has the biggest ass in Ring of Honor, AEW. Like, she's pretty too. I know she's a lesbian or whatever, but I I like her personality or whatever. I just feel like she needs a lot more to help her going. When she had that feud with Athena a couple of months back, we got to see the best out of her. Yeah, it was a short-lived feud, and they ended up having two matches, and the second match was like a hardcore type of match, and they impressed me here, even though there were some hiccups throughout the match. Ever since then, we probably only seen her like maybe once or twice since her feud with Athena. Sometimes they start going strong with somebody or a specific feud, and then they just like drop the ball on it and then move on to something else. We need a lot of people back there being able to focus on multiple stories, on multiple people, and make things make sense as things move along. Because when somebody is red hot and then all of a sudden you cool that shit down, now people just end up forgetting about them and it just doesn't do anything for their career. It's so annoying. Like I said, these girls were baddies with Jade Cargill. That should have helped with their careers because they're actually decent wrestlers, just that they're not getting anywhere. Kiera Hogan takes the win, but I would like to see more from her and how her career is going to progress because at this point, it just seems like we're probably going to see her in another month, like we've been seeing consistently. Next, we had the infantry and Willie Mack versus I can't even remember who they were going against. Now, the infantry and Willie Mack, they actually look good in this match because their opponents don't really do anything. So it was really short and they just look good by being with people who don't really put too much effort in because they know they got to do a job here. It's so annoying. And plus, we don't really see too much of Willie Mack in this match. I really, really like him. Infantry Willie Mack takes the win. Now we have Layla Hirsch versus Lady Frost. Another great match. However, all of Layla matches kind of seem the same to me. I don't like it. She always end up winning with an armbar. Sure, I understand that's her finisher, but everything that she does in the ring kind of reminds me of the last match I saw of her, so I don't like that. Now, after the match, we do have Maria and Cole Carter that comes to the ring. They go to shake her hand, trying to see if she wants to join the group, and Layla ends up walking out the ring and not even looking back at their asses. She wants nothing to do with them. So on to one of my favorite matches of the night, one of the few ones I would actually recommend watching, Blake Christian and Gringo Loco versus Shibata and Eddie Kingston. This was a really great match, really fun, and all four of these guys are super talented and they had great chemistry with each other. Now, Blake Christian and Gringo Loco, months back, they had a match together that was absolutely beautiful. So, with them being tag team partners, they had really great chemistry just like when they went against each other. So, I really enjoyed that. They were actually a good fit for them to be partners. Now, Shibata. Oh my God, this man don't do any wrong in my eyes. When I see him in the ring, I know I am just looking at the purest form of professional wrestling. He is perfect. And then we have Eddie Kingston. He cool or whatever. Everybody loves Eddie. He brings that edge to the match that everybody loves. And this was super fun. Now, this was filmed before the All Out pay per view where Shibata and Eddie were partners. So, this is the first time that anybody actually got a chance to see them, as partners and see what they had to give as far as chemistry goes. So, they work really, really well together. I really want to see more of Eddie and Shibata in ROH. They're two people that I feel like a lot of people want to see, but we have not seen them often in Ring of Honor since they have been in Japan. So I'm hoping we get a chance to see more. Eddie and Shibata ends up taking the win, but Gringo Loco and Blake Christian look absolutely fabulous in this match. Next, we had another Proving Grounds match with Lee Johnson versus Claudio Castagnoli. Yes, you heard that right. The thing was over obviously in less than 10 minutes. He only has 10 minutes to prove himself to get a win. Now, honestly, this was just too easy for Claudio. And when Claudio comes out, this dude looked like God spent a little more time on him. He looks perfect. And you know what? This match, not really. It was just too easy for Claudio to just pretty much beat up Lee. Now, Lee does have some moments where he's able to do something, but nothing over the top, nothing to be wild about. Preferably, I would say Claudio, he's on a level that most people are not in Ring of Honor. And this is not to put anybody down, but Claudio is super established as far as being a wrestler go. And I do believe that he's the right fit to be the Ring of Honor champion. However, everyone else on the roster, you're not doing much with them. And if you were doing something to build these guys to the top, they would look like more credible opponents to go in the ring with Claudio. Unfortunately, Mark Briscoe had got injured. I do believe he maybe he wasn't next to hold the title, but he would have had a feud going on with Claudio by now, and that would have been able to help bring um, more people as far as the audience to that storyline. So now Mark is obviously out the way, and then the next biggest person, Samoa Joe, is already holding a title, feuding with MJF. We have Shibata, who's a pure champion, and we barely have a pure rules division with that anyway. But this was just too easy for Claudio, and if we don't see Claudio from time to time, I think that's okay. But in the meantime, they should be trying to build bigger stars that can look good going in the ring with somebody like Claudio. I didn't like this. Now we have the Iron Shabbos next against God knows who. And once again, like I'm saying, it looks like they're just picking up people from the street and putting them in the ring. And it's like, how the hell are people supposed to be interested in watching this when these opponents are not really doing anything? Are just putting them in squash matches and think that people are going to enjoy this and pay $9.99? Ugh, this is so annoying. So now we have Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and the Best Friends versus the Workhorsemen and the Outrunners. Is that their name? Whatever. This is something you would see on Rampage. It was decent, but damn, like, can we get these guys some storylines or something? So something that people actually want to see. Now, the last thing that we do have here on the show is Athena versus Allison J. This is the first match since Death Before Dishonor where she's in a ring with somebody that looked like they can actually beat her. It actually seemed like her opponent actually had a chance. Now, we don't normally see Athena in the ring pretty much getting a beat down from her opponent. So this was actually a nice change. It almost seems like every week she has an easy opponent to go against, and this time it felt different. So I do recommend checking this match out because it's not going to seem like the same like the other matches. Either way, we do have Athena taking the win. I forgot how many wins she has right now, but she is looking absolutely on fire. Now, I know people have been speculating that we were going to see Athena versus Billy Starks for the title, but I just found out that Billy's actually been injured, which is why we haven't seen her in the ring, and she's just pretty much being Athena's sidekick right now. So I don't know how long that injury is going to take for her to get better. But once she does get better, we'll see a change in the storyline, and then these two will end up going at each other in the ring. But I still don't see someone like Billy Starks taking the win. But at least we got some story going on over there in Ring of Honor. Either way, guys, I love watching wrestling, so I can't pass it up, even though I know it's not going to be a perfect show. But you know what? It's getting boring at this point. Thanks for watching my review, you guys. I'll be back tomorrow with a review for a Rampage. Bye.